gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the GFreak Speaks podcast, episode number 34, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want to sponsor the podcast, make sure to come check it out. DM me at JackoGFreak on any of the socials. Jump on board. We can give you a shout out in the middle, start, end, a call to action, whatever you guys want, whatever you guys need. We can do that, get that sorted. So jump in the DMs if you guys want to sponsor. As well as the fact, if you guys haven't already rated this a 5-star on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever the hell you listen to this, give it a goddamn 5-star, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my boy Jordan Narski. Welcome, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, yeah. I'm not doing too bad. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, give it a 5-star, boys. Come on now.
Gas it up. It needs to be a 5-star. I don't know, like you give your Uber driver a 5-star, you don't even know him, okay? You know us. Give us the 5-star. Give us a 10-star if you could, okay? Gas it up.
100%.
Narski, what's been happening, brother? What's news? What have you been up to, man? You've been a busy man.
Yeah. I've actually kind of stepped up the whole casting stuff that I've been doing recently. I've been doing some stuff over in NA, and hopefully I will be able to cast this tournament that's happening in I think it's next week actually, where it's the top 24 NA teams in their challenges. So it'll be really cool to get involved with them. People like Doug Sense-Martin, CASTER, all the top people that everyone kind of knows, and all those big names. So it'll be cool. It'll be really, really dope to do that. But yeah, I've just been kind of going full time with the casting at the moment. I don't know. I found a new love for it, especially after that event that we did together, and with some of the other casters. It kind of lit a spark under me. So been really enjoying all the casting and doing all that. So that's pretty much been my kind of full focus at the moment in terms of everything. So yeah, I'm trying to get partnered on Twitch. Hopefully they come through. They haven't replied back or not, but
dogs.
I'm waiting for the tick. I just want to flex a little tick,
Absolutely.
But it's been paying off. So yeah, just pretty much been ham on the casting. So
that's good, man. That's good. And so for people that don't know Narski's one of the most talented up and coming casters in the scene for Call of Duty. He's very passionate. We first crossed paths at the Melbourne Fortress LAN hosted by Vertex Gaming. Which was fantastic. A fantastic event to be there. If you guys wanted to get a recap of that, jump on the YouTube channel and check out the vlog, the 2-day vlog. That happened.
It was a dope vid as well.
It was so funny, bro. Everyone getting up and about and rowdy and whatnot. But let's step it back a little bit and take us back to when you were first introduced into gaming as a young lad. Where did the passion spark begin?
That's interesting. Yeah, so I actually don't know where, probably the first thing. I was always kind of I had an older brother, so he was always kind of playing games and doing that. I'm pretty sure the first thing I played would have probably been COD. I know it sounds kind of wild, but I was probably 6 or 7. My brother had a cracked version of COD 4. He downloaded it on his PC.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. I want to get on this. And we used to always stay up really late and play games together. He played GTA and stuff. So I was introduced to all the kind of big boy games really young. But then I ended up getting the same game, the COD 4, on my little laptop. And that's where I started playing kind of COD. But through then I got a PlayStation, and then I was playing, I was just playing whatever games I really could. I had a DS as well. So, you play the usual Pokemon.
Yeah.
What else did I play? Super Mario 64. That was a banger.
Absolutely.
Love that. So all the kind of OG little platforms and all that is kind of where I started. But when I got my PlayStation, and I think it was Modern Warfare 3, that was the first COD that I played online. I was hooked, man. As soon as I found out there was a multiplayer and I could play online, and it wasn't just me and my brother on split screen, I was like, this is a new world. I was loving it. I was addicted. So I pretty much played nonstop. Pretty much every COD since then I've pretty much played, and that's really where it sparked. So probably when I was around 9 or 10 is when that came out, or when that happened, and I was I was hooked. It was literally the kind of every time I had free time through school and stuff, I was always playing, always getting on there, and it's cool. It's cool to be part of that, because I met a lot of people through playing online. Over the years, I had a mate who was from New Zealand. That we were probably 10 and 12 when we were playing Black Ops 2, but we played pretty much every day for about 6 or 7 years, and then I'd never met the guy, but we'd always just played online. And then there was a UFC event in Melbourne that came here with on the UFC, and I was like, yo, you should come down. There's a New Zealand fighter, an Oz fighter. We ended up meeting up. It was a sick time. One of the best things that I've ever been to the UFC. So that was also something pretty cool as well. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started though. Just playing. My brother kind of got me hooked onto it. He was always kind of playing games and stuff, so I just naturally followed.
Oh yeah, man. It's always the older brother or like neighbor that always has the games that you jump on board and you're like, it's just where it all begins. You just start cracking into this thing like as a young fella, and you're like, damn man, this is some good shit. Some good shit, like, bro.
What is this? Yeah.
I remember like I had GTA Vice City, right? And my parents got that for me for my when I was 11 or 10 for Christmas. And dude, they were like, oh shit, what did we buy him? Like, because they didn't realize, because I'm like going to the cop plays, getting like the massive like dildo in the shower block and just smacking people up on the street with it. And they're like, what the hell did we just buy this 10, 11-year-old kid? It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But a lot of people that come on this podcast, it all started in like Call of Duty 4. All of it. It's like I reckon it's got to be the best S&D game of all time.
100%. It was so good. And because I was playing on PC, which is weird because I never, until COD recently transferred to PC in Cold War for like competitive play, I would have never played a COD on PC. But because it was like on PC, there was all these servers.
Yep.
And you used to be able to play like all these like custom game modes essentially, right? So it was like, I don't know, it was like paintball, like King of the Hill, like aliens, and like all like this random stuff. And I was playing on a trackpad as well, so I was absolutely awful. I played for like 3 years or something, and I was like only got to like level 24, which was like the worst, probably the worst progression you've ever seen. But it was just sick. Like I just remember like the nostalgia in that was mental. I'd never be able to find it again, never be able to play it again. Like I don't even know how I got onto that. It was like a cracked version. It was this like dodgy thing, but it was sick, man. It all starts with that. And then, the S&D, like everything about COD 4 was so good, man. That's like the OG days of COD.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. Like I played a lot of competitive, like a full season of Modern Warfare Remastered, just 5v5 S&D, 4v4 Jeep, like gamer battles and stuff. Grinding that was good fun. Like we went 151 games in zip on the GB ladder. So we won that season. That was sick. Won the solos ladder as well. That was sick fun. But it was just... like, and that was recently, but even before that, like I remember when I first came across COD 4 at my friend's PlayStation 3 back in like 07 when it came out. And it had like, he had like the cross-compatible PS4 as well, or PS3. And it was so good, man. It was so fun. I remember like chucking down a Claymore and be like, holy shit, man. And then MW2 comes out and you get like a perk called Bling and you have like 4 attachments and you go like, dude, this is nuts. But now there's 20 attachments. It's nuts, bro.
It's just standard.
I probably think there's too much, eh? What do you reckon?
Yeah. I'm always, bro. I'm literally on like the thing. Like COD needs to dial it back, man. Like I try and play pubs in this game. Like there's like 30 million guns that I've ever seen that they just add throughout the year. I'm getting set on fire. I'm getting two-bulleted like across the map. I'm like, what's going on? Like it's just it's just chaos. Like I think they need to dial it back a little bit and think about some ways that they can innovate it without having to just kind of add on like some more things. Like because back then, like in MW2 and stuff, there was all this fun stuff that was like not previously in there, but it was because it wasn't there, and then it made the game fun. Now it's just kind of oversaturated with like a bunch of different attachments or whatever.
You know why it works, man? It's because of the fact that it was simple, but it wasn't overcomplicated. So you had like 6 perks in each thing, so you had 18 perks that you could choose from, but they all worked well. Like someone like, for example, sit rep like is never a perk that you'd pick nowadays, but back then like you would. All these different types, like I don't mind the different types of grenades and tacticals, that's fine, but just the perks and the gun attachments, like let's bring it back to basics. Don't have too many like options, but have more options than back in the day, but just not oversaturate. Like how good would another pick 10 system be, dude? Like it'd be elite. Sick. It just works well. It's simplicity,
Yeah, and that's what I always think about, because like you think about Vanguard, right? Like the idea of breakables, man. Like I can't. It's my. I always talk about it because it's my pet hate, but like I don't get it. I don't get it because like if you think about it from like, like a casual playing standpoint, like it's not more enjoyable to have breakables that like people can see you through and like you get stuck on and all that, and then you go to comp play and then people still get stuck on it. It just makes the game work. So like you have this this kind of thing that's intrinsic in all the maps and in the game, and it's awful. Like no one really enjoys it. Maybe at the start, you know, you might have some people who are like, oh, this is cool, you know, I can break stuff, but then you go like, you know, a bit into the game, you realize how just awful it is. It's like, why would you even add that? Like it nuts, blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Working now as a product owner and designer and a marketing guy at a new company, bro, like understanding how simplicity and like the difference between simplicity and complexity and when to pull the trigger with those type of things, it's just over complicated. There's too much, it's over engineered, and they've just outdone it. There's too many fucking moving things on a map. There's dynamic, it's not just 3 lanes. It's breaking walls. There's opening and closing of doors, windows. There's super sprint all the fucking time. There's 20 perks on a gun. There's, you know, like back in the day, I know that we keep harping back on the day.
Yeah, no, man, that's the golden age, mate.
But like, it's, you know, the most the most complex it got was pro perks, which is great because it makes you play the game and you want to grind it, you know, and you prestige and you're like, oh, okay, I'll take the hit, but you know what, I'll work my way back up. And the default classes weren't too bad, but that was great. And that was like fun. That was like what made you want to play. Because now, like, it's too fast. Play pubs. Like, what makes me want to play that? Like, it's not fun because what I used to always enjoy, like even Black Ops 2, where, you know, I probably don't even really. I mean, I probably played more of that game than I do this game. But you know, like back then, it was fun for me to like go on like a massive kill streak. You know, call in the canine, get the swarm in. You know, all that. Like here, like what do I have? Like, there's no fun kill streaks. There's no prestige system. Like I'm not sacrificing all this work to like, you know, want to build it back up and do all this. It's just constantly the same thing. There's nothing to keep me playing. It's just like I'll play 1 or 2 games that I'm bored. I'm like, well, there's nothing to keep me playing. That's another problem they have with the game. So yeah, there's a lot of things. And as you said, like the over engineering of all this sort of stuff is kind of what's making it unenjoyable. I think this is the least selling COD of all time, Vanguard. So it sucks, bro. You know, the developers are probably doing their best, and I don't want to knock them too hard. But I really hope that Modern Warfare 2 is good. And I'm pretty sure it's done by Treyarch. Not
I think it's done by Infinity Ward. I think Treyarch is doing certain designs for it or something. Like I think they're doing like the rank system and like certain features. I don't know too much about it, but I think it's kind of like a mixed kind of thing. But I actually like that they're doing the 2-year gap. Like instead of doing it yearly, they're taking time. Okay, well, we're just pushing out these CODs year by year, and they're just not, you know, going anywhere. So I actually do like that.
Well, what happens if we're stuck with a shit COD for 2 years, bro?
That is also the issue. Like, to be honest though, like even this COD, like I would hate for it to be 2 years, but I think I would like sacrifice another year and be like, look, at least we can kind of almost not guarantee, but at least, you know, have a lot higher of a chance of it being a good COD. Because I feel like each COD's kind of gone worse and worse, you know, over kind of time, right? Like for me, ever since like maybe Infinite Warfare, I've kind of not enjoyed CODs as much. Like I remember playing Infinite Warfare. It was probably the only COD I didn't really play, but I just played it and I was like, there's 30,000 things happening on my screen right now, and I literally cannot play it. I just stopped playing it after like a week. So if they're taking time and realizing, okay, well, maybe this year by year thing isn't really working, at least then I can have a little bit more hope and go, well, they can flesh out certain, you know, system or features of the game. And I would really like them to start focusing more on multiplayer than doing like things like the campaign and zombies and stuff. Because I know that like that's awesome and stuff, and I love zombies. I think Black Ops 2 zombies and BO3 zombies was like some of the best time ever with like my mates and that. But if you focus on the multiplayer and get it fleshed out, you don't have all these, you know, bad features, these, you know, breakables, you have good maps, you have all this. That's where the core of COD is. That is where probably 90% of people play it. You know, you want to play multiplayer. The campaign and the zombies you play is kind of like a side thing, like, oh yeah, we're bored. Okay, well, let's hop on zombies and stuff. Let's do this. But you're not actually making all your money and, you know, a lot of replayability in those game modes as much as you would be multiplayer. So hopefully having the 2-year gap will allow them to be like, okay, well, we can flesh out some of these things and do more. That's my hope. But, you know, it's COD. Who knows? They could fumble it. I don't know.
They could absolutely fumble. Well, back to your point about Infinite Warfare. Like that game wasn't as good as the fact it wasn't good because Black Ops 3 was prior to that. You know, and that game was smooth. It had a nice bar. I remember Scumpy with the M18 and all that type of stuff. M803, M8 03 A1 or whatever it's called.
Whatever. They go through.
But it was so fun. It was enjoyable. That was probably the best jetpack game out of the 3 that came out. But I do, and I'm spewing that Optic didn't win that fucking year, bro. They really should have.
They're chokers, man. Every time, bro.
You know what?
Crazy.
The thing about Optic is that every time Optic play, they're always versing the best version of every team they play. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Every team always clutches up. Every team plays well against Optic. That's the issue against them, because they're so good.
Because they have so much hype around them, and like it's like they're expected to do so well, and then like every team's like, okay, well, we need to turn up, against this team.
Every team.
I think it's getting worse now as well because of the league, because all the teams I feel like in the league are so good. Like the standard, like the level of standard in the league right now is like higher than it's ever been, because like I don't know what it is, but having like a default league where you're constantly playing each other, it's just at another level. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I feel bad for Optic, but it kind of is what it is.
Nature of the beast.
It's wild as well this year that Subliners, which has Crim6, and Claystar, who's not even in the league, might not even make it. So Scump, Crim, and Clay out of the 3, it's going to be just Scumpy that is able to maybe even compete in champs, which is wild. Yeah, it's another topic, but yeah, crazy.
Well, I reckon New York's going to make a miracle run.
Oh, I believe.
I really hope they do, because like I don't like Crim6 to a degree. But I like him. I like him. I follow him and all that type of stuff. I love him. But just when he versus Optic, I'm just like, nah, fuck you. I hope you lose. But I really want him to make champs. Like I want them to win games and whatnot. Yeah. And they've got a really talented team. And I'm glad. It's just annoying that they took so long to find this team. It's just frustrating, man. And I just don't get it. I just do not get it. But I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. And the reason they're out is purely because LAG had that miracle run. If they didn't have that miracle run at that event and won that with the plus 65 points that you get for winning, then they wouldn't be where they are. They'd be in the 8 and easily, should scrape into champs.
Yeah, exactly. They would be like, I mean, they kind of are, but on that bottom end, and they probably wouldn't be where Sublines are, which is kind of tough. But if he didn't make it, then it would just be wild. Like that's when the league would probably get a shock and be like, okay, we need to make some changes to formatting and how we actually want to do it. But it's just like, to me, it's just wild. Like the whole level of the league and like where it's gotten is actually crazy. Like I feel like even the teams like, let's say Legion, who are quote unquote pretty bad. Like we saw him the other day. I don't know who they were versing. I think it was Optic. And I mean, like Johnny, who's a rookie, just came into the team, or whatever. He gets like an ace the first round they play in the search and destroy, like making this crazy flank. Somehow pulls it off. Like it was wild. Like the talent is through the roof. Temp's insane. Like even the worst team, like by a mile as well. They're not even like close to any other team, which sucks. But like their talent is still at that level. So there's such a high expectation now, which I think is one of the pros to them switching from the COD World League to the actual Call of Duty League. But yeah, as you said, like each kind of team is the best version of itself. And it's wild because there was like so many switches that happened before this event that's happening right now. And it feels like every team, like let's say like Boston or like Mutineers or, Subliners, whatever it is, like all these teams feel like they're the best that they've been all year somehow. Like these switches have just been perfect for them. So champs will be pretty sick to watch. But yeah, Subliners need to make a miracle run, but I have a bit of faith in them. Crim, the vet, he's got some good composure. So we'll see how they go.
The thing about it though is if they make a miracle run, it means that Optic either has to win the event and New York plays second, so that's a very low chance or something. Or it can happen, but also it just means that it knocks Optic out to a degree. But Optic's never won. I'm obviously an Optic fan, but Optic's never beat them, and it just tilts me. I'm like, for fuck's sake, man! Like come on, what's going on? What's going on, fellas? Honestly, man. But the other thing as well is that the reason why the league's tighter is because a lot of players verse each other all the time, and there's only that set of 12x4 players that they verse, so they understand player tendencies. Everyone knows Envoy hits a flank. Everyone knows Shotzzy does all these stupid fucking jump spots. Everyone knows Kenny is better with an SMG than an AR. But you know what I mean? Like everyone knows Octane's just got to sit there on a fucking head glitch. Everyone knows that Crim's just going to get carried. You know what I mean? Like, Hydra's going to be pushing everywhere. So you understand player tendencies. So that's why the competition's so tight, because everyone is constantly analyzing what other players do. And until they kind of expand their own bag of tricks, then it's always going to be very tight. And there's not going to be that massive pullback because it's taken 2 years for the league to kind of identify phase a bit more. But then again, you've still got Paris sucking absolute schlongs on the bottom of the ladder.
Oh man, you gotta feel for him, man. Like Temp, bro. I feel bad for Temp, like especially like Donny,
he was on phase.
Like, bro, dude. It would be so tough, like mentally, just to go into every match knowing like we're probably losing this. We've had 100 days or whatever it was. Like they have a counter on the desk.
107.
Yeah, they have like a counter that says like this is how many days Paris hasn't won. Like, bro, like it would just be so tough on the mental. Like,
I know, bro.
Oh man,
did they win today?
I could imagine. I'm
they
not
played
sure.
today, I think.
I didn't see the matches today. I saw the Surge one. They went map 5 because I always try and follow AG.
Yep.
Because that's the boy. Let me have a look. Actually, Paris.
I actually came across AG twice in a free for all game in Black Ops 4, and one of them was on raid. I was streaming as well. I really wish I recorded it now that I know that the player he is. But we played free for all, and he was saying nah bullshit. But there was 2 games. There was one game we were just talking shit, and he knew who I was, and I knew who he was because I used to verse him in like monies in NWR, and we were talking mad shit. I beat him in the first free for all. Second FFA, another guy beat both of us. But it was the funniest shit, bro. Just backwards and forwards shit talking the whole FFA because the lobby chat was open. Everyone in free for all, you can just talk shit the whole game. Yeah. Whole game, just in each other's fucking ears, bro. Yeah. In each other's ears. It was great. It was the best. But I wish I had that footage. But that was back in Black Ops 4, man.
I mean,
it was funny as.
Like free for alls, like I mean that sort of stuff is like caught its essence, right? Like just chatting some shit, just going back and forth in each other's ears and stuff. And AG being who he is, I could imagine there would have been some good stuff. But
it was crazy. I used to watch Ali A. Ali A used to be like the free for all.
Ali A was the GOAT, bro.
He was good, wasn't he?
T-Man, Ali A. I mean, obviously there's they've all done what they have and gone their ways. But
he's moved to Fortnite now, man. Bro. He used to cop so much shit too, but he was so ahead of his time, man. You ever used 100%. To watch 402 Thunder?
402 Thunder? I don't think so, no.
He was like the guy that's come on in. He's a truck driver in America. He's a fairly big YouTuber too, and he's so funny, bro. He's always roasting COD, and he does the old school gameplay with the commentary over the top. He still does it. And he says, crazy. "Okay, topic for today, guys." And he just talks over the top. I've never seen what he looks like. He's got a big Twitter following. He's got a even bigger YouTube following. But 402 Thunder, check him out. He's sick as.
That's actually sick that he's like committed to like the actual like OG like format. Yeah, like
he still does it.
It's kind of I don't know if is he still successful with it?
Yeah, he's still popping with it.
Yeah, mate. If he's still successful and he's still kicking, like good for him, man. Because like I feel like you kind of constantly got to be shifting with the times. Like it's hard to like stay like true to like that kind of, what do they call it? They call it like a live com or whatever it is. No, but with the actual style of the thing. But
live commentary they call it, even though it's like over the top of a gameplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nuts. But back in the day, you used to actually have to record and talk at the same time as playing. So you actually genuinely had to do it before the editing all came out.
Yeah.
Back in like 07 or whatever. But you had the HD TV and all that type of shit, the red, yellow and white cables plugging into the back of your TV.
Oh man.
Dude, I remember I used to put like a stool with my mum's camera that sat on top of and it just filmed the TV.
Bro, there's definitely a video out there of me like back in Black Ops 2. I know it's out there somewhere because I've seen it. It's like this like trick shotting thing, but it's literally filmed that exact same way. And it's just it's some like someone's phone or camera or whatever it is. It's on the it's like pointing at the TV. Yeah. It's from Black Ops 2. I remember the video. I don't know where it is. It's out there somewhere. You'll probably see me in there. But it was that was like how it was. Like, everyone wanted to do some sort of footage and like upload stuff. And as soon as I got my PS4 in Advanced Warfare, I remember at the end of Advanced Warfare is when I switched. Man, I was so happy I could like record and stuff. I did a bunch of videos.
Makes it easier, man. Makes it so much easier. And if for anyone listening right now, if you guys have done that, tell us your story below, because I know there's a lot of people out there doing that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's like the OG way. That was so good, man.
Oh, for sure.
But
did
Paris, OG though.
Did Paris
Wait, sorry, what was that?
win? Sorry, did Paris win?
Oh, I looked at it. I can't see. I don't know how to CDL. If I go CDL standings, maybe or CDL schedule.
CDL schedule. And on the website, it should scroll up and down on it. It has all the tiers there. But are you watching the Apex Global Series Championship?
I'm not watching the Apex. I haven't actually ever watched Apex.
Hey,
but I've
dude,
heard very
you
good
need to
things.
watch that. That's probably the best casted event I've ever seen. The event
Really?
itself, the way it's the LAN format, and the way the format of actually winning. Have you heard about how the winning format is?
No, I've heard nothing about it except for it's really good.
There's groups of A, B, C, and D, and you obviously have to qualify and rank up points, and you don't have a multiplier like in Warzone when you place. It's just like plus 12, plus 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and then you've got your kills as just on top of it as 1 point each. And then what happens is once you qualify, you'll play a main bracket one, and it's the first team to hit 60 points. Then what happens is all you have to do once you hit that 60-point bracket, you just have to win the game. All you have to do.
Right.
So say that there could be like 7 or 10 teams, and all they have to do once they've got the 60 points in that format is just win a game. You don't have to have any kills. You just have to win the next match.
You just have to win.
Win the next match, and you've qualified, and then you win the World Series. It's nuts.
That's crazy.
So they could play. They could play for 20. Like in a crazy world, they could play for 24 hours. And they could just be playing. That's wild. Yeah, until someone wins a game. That's it. Every team could be on 60 points. It could have been like 10, 20 games in a row. And every team could be on 60 points. And all they have to do is just win. Camp it out and win. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's like the Warzone tourney that the Scump on or whatever, and everyone was sitting there with their like riot shields and stuff and like camping out and trying to survive as long as possible. Yeah. Like, dude, that is sick. I actually really like that. I might have to get on that because I've been kind of bored with like stuff to watch. But
play Apex, twitch.tv/play Apex. It's so good, man.
Apex. Okay, I'm actually
for people watching right now, this comes out on Tuesday, so you would already know who the World Championship champion team is, which I'm going to back it. Optic Gaming, they're absolutely fucking cracked. Although TSM and 100 Thieves are they're looking pretty good. TSM's actually rocked up to the game this time, so fortunate for them. But I really hope, and also Dark Zero, which is Jen Burden and the Aussie squad that we have there, who
Jen Burden, a machine.
They won the split too that was just done. So they've got the most recent LAN winning, but. Fingers crossed to them too, but obviously I've got to back the green wall. I've got to back the green always, man.
Hey, I'm an Optic fan at heart as well. I can't. How can you not love Optic? I mean, what they've done. Optic in general is just such a sick like the whole like vibe, like Hex making like everything kind of like a family and like everyone being around and stuff. And Optic seems to be going up in terms of an actual organization because they just won the Valorant VCT or whatever it was, right? With their team. Now they've got, I mean, their COD team's always been good, but I think they're moving away from kind of like they obviously had like, Halo, and I think they had a CS team as well. Yeah, they definitely had a CS team.
They got rid of that CS team though.
Yeah, they did.
It was like the India team. That was terrible.
Yeah. But, they've always been kind of like a COD kind of based organization. And they still are at their roots, but I feel like they're kind of slowly moving out of that and branching out while still keeping it like a family. Because like that was the thing that separated them from FaZe. Like FaZe went really big. Yeah. And as a whole organization, FaZe probably all round is more successful and probably has, obviously a lot more, fans behind it, or not, maybe not fans, but like, a lot more kind of money behind it and net worth or whatever you want to say. Yep. But Optic still kind of kept true to its root. And it is still doing that to this day, which I find really cool. Like,
look, it did really well. But we only had like just a COD team, and then we went to Halo, and now Envy acquired us, and then Optic actually took over Envy completely now, and we've went the full merge. And I reckon it was probably Hastro's call to actually start expanding a bit more. So now we've got Apex Legends, Valorant, Rocket League. And, they're just expanding. Because I think that what's happened is Hex is like, okay, I think he's understood that we've got to start expanding a little bit and get the best teams to then keep up with. Like, look at 100 Thieves. They've expanded so fast. Cloud9, what's it called? TSM. And they want to keep up with them a little bit more. So to do that, you have to expand to different games and reach out. But obviously you have to build that base, which they've done for so long, for so well. But
yeah, they've got
it's
such
good
a
to see
cool
them expand.
fan base.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to 100 Thieves. Like, not only, I mean, Nadeshot, that's the most random thing ever, that just Nadeshot decided to make an organization, but then the way that they've branded themselves and created what they've created is actually very, very impressive. Like, they've got like really good merch and stuff that's like very casual. They've got some big streamers. They got like Valkyrie. Who else they have? They have some good streamers, right, underneath their thing, like content creators.
Courage. There's a big guy there. He's funny as he is gay, and he's the funniest guy I think ever. He's a host of like a talk show as well. I can't remember his name. Have you heard of him? You know who I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, he's so funny. He's on the tip of my tongue a bit. Normally, he's always on the Courage and Nade Shot show as well.
Right. Okay.
Which they haven't done for a very long time.
I was about to say I haven't heard too much about that. They've done it. Competitive teams as well, also extremely good and well versed. I mean, they have COD, Valorant.
Yep.
I mean, they have like every esport under the sun. Do they have Rocket? No, I don't think they have Rocket League actually.
No,
I'm not sure about that. I don't know if they do.
I'm not sure.
But, I mean, apart from the big three, they have heaps of teams everywhere. Like they've done just so well with like from starting where they started. Obviously, they had a big help coming from Nade Shot and having his following or whatever. But they've just done so much more than probably actually any org's really done in such a short time.
Yep.
So you got to respect that. That's just insane. And they're cool. Like it's got a cool vibe about it, so you can get behind it. And like they've done really really well, which I think is what a lot of CDL teams need to start adopting as well. Like get people to stand by you. Like the CDL, I mean, in general, like they have their like places, so people like from like Seattle or from London or whatever, can support their, you'll have people supporting their teams, but have the organization actually give you a reason. And Boston Breach is kind of doing that because they're very new.
They're great,
but their branding is awesome. Yeah. Like it stands out to for the rest of them. But like Rocker and LAG, I always look at them and I'm always like, which team is which again? Like, what's going on? Like, I kind of just like get switched up. I'm like, they don't separate themselves. They don't make an impact like FaZe, Optic, or Thieves, or Boston Breach do. So I think that's what teams need to start doing, just in general, a lot of organizations. But 100 Thieves, awesome stuff to see from them.
Oh, for sure. Noah J and Brooke AB, but there's also another guy as well. Noah J, the goat of zombies, loves it.
He is a weapon.
So many hours watching him, man. Just like seeing how he does it and all that type of stuff. But I don't think now I could do it. Like as a kid, you're easily entertained watching that type of stuff. And whatnot. Who are some people that you used to watch back in the day? I used to love watching Vanos and his squad and
Vanos,
C-Nanas.
Who you used to watch? C-Nanas.
Yes.
I mean, we probably had the same kind of taste. We're probably watching the same sort of stuff. A lot of it was, like, I had like the classics for like COD, like T-Mon, Syndicate. Who else was like big back in the day? Now I'm trying to think. Well, I used to watch a bit of LEA as well. I'm actually trying to think because I haven't seen these. Like the content that you watch shifts so much. Like maybe dude, there's definitely another person like KYS, Speedy, and Vanos. I feel like there was another group that I used to watch that was like just used to have me like on the floor, bro.
C-Nanas and his crew, surely.
They're goated. I used to watch them all the time. I remember the one video where he's like, he had the guy who like does the voiceover or the comment, like the voice acting.
Yeah,
he's doing like Morgan Freeman and that, bro. Yeah. That used to have me dying, bro.
Even Mr. Sark as well. He used to do it. That type of stuff. Did you ever used to watch Chris Smoove?
Chris Smoove? No, I don't think so.
He was one of the goats for COD. He used to do like the
is that
Chris
the
Smoove
campaign?
is coming for you, and the like whenever he like had the AC-130, he's like, oh no, get those Dorito chips out, it's about to begin, make a splash. He'd have all these things, and then whenever he shot someone, he's like, ha ha, and all that type of stuff. Dude, it was so good. It's like Chris Smoove's got a noob coming at you, dude. It was the best. It's still in my head, rent free, man.
I gotta look this guy up. Does he do 2K now?
Yes, he does 2K now.
Okay. I've seen his 2K content, but I hadn't seen his COD content, which is
his best video is abusing claymores in MW2. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
That dude, you got to think like, do games like back in the day, right? And like content creators and stuff. Is it because you were young that they were so good, or is it because they were just better? Like where does like the line kind of cross over? Like you think about CODs, like. If I was young playing COD now and like looking at the content creators that do COD now and stuff, would I have the same kind of opinions as I did back in the day watching like those content creators? Like where does
No.
You know, when does one cross over the other? You reckon it's
Nah.
they've degraded over time, or?
I reckon there's so many good players because everyone has access to easy equipment to use, like scuffs and all these new monitors. It's easily accessible. Not many people used to play with headsets and monitors and all that other shit, man.
That's true. That's true.
And scuffed
That's
gaming
true.
controllers. So it's very different nowadays. But what are your thoughts about that with children growing up and watching?
I don't know. I kind of feel like back in the day there was a different vibe. Like, I mean, you look at OG games, like, you know, like the like PS1, like, you know, like the real like you know, terrible kind of, well, not terrible graphics, but you know what I mean, like
I get you.
the really dialed down graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
Like back then, that would have been really sick to play and very nostalgic. But it's not where it's at like now, and like, you know, I feel like it's where you grow up and where you play. I feel like there's a kind of an overlap where it's like, yeah, the games have gotten better, the equipment's gotten better, the players have gotten better, but also back in the day, the games were at a certain level and had a certain vibe about them that was different. And it would go the same for games, but the precursor to those games that would have been the same for that generation. So I feel like there's a bit of overlap, but I still feel like it's like they used to be better back in the day, and like now there's, you know, there's a different kind of era. Like, I mean, like Fortnite, like if you're a kid like growing up playing Fortnite, like, you know, in its heyday, you know, it's going to have a different vibe, or like, you know, a different kind of nostalgic feeling about it when you grow up compared to like when we would play it, right? Like, because we're past that time. Like, it's not nostalgic for us to play Fortnite. We're just playing it because it's a new game that was on the block at the time, you know? So I feel like there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes into it, but like it's kind of, a few things, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Like as a kid watching, sometimes it's just one thing. It might be like the effects or something funny, or just someone approachable, or just someone semi-good. It really, there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of different things in the world, as we know right now. There's a lot of evolving things that are happening, and like kids and social media, and now it's all short form. It's all quick, snappy, witty.
Yeah, that's what I'm hating at the moment, actually.
There's no long form's gone, bro. Long form is fucking dead.
It's going down the drain. I hate it too.
Like, the podcast is good because people use it for their commute, but other than that, man, you know, you don't get that young audience, which is what drives views.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like, people aren't getting paid as well for the short form content. Like, you look at I was watching a few videos by like Ludwig and I think Moist Critical. I don't know if you watch any of them. I watched a fair bit of them, but they were talking about short form content, and you could have like 20 million views on a video that's, you know, under 2 minutes, or like a 2 minute, you know, like short on YouTube, and you get paid like $83 for it or something. That's crazy. Because if that video was like 10 minutes, you'd be getting like, you know, tens of thousands, like probably 20, 30,000 plus, you know, for a video that big, which is crazy. I mean, like, the only person who's probably really successful in long form content right now is Mr. Beast. Like, he's like, I mean, he makes like 10-minute long videos and they get tens of millions of views. But the only people doing like that was like PewDiePie back in the day, like at that level. Now it's all TikTok, Shorts, Instagram Reels that you just constantly like flicking through. Like, I purposely don't use TikTok for a few reasons, but one of those reasons being that I hate the short form. Like, sometimes it's good for a bit of a laugh and, you know, memes and that sort of thing. But, you know, the golden era, I feel like, was when Vine was like a thing and you had some of that short form, but you also still had all the long form content on YouTube. And now it's all just getting compacted down. I hate it. Oh,
for sure, man. It's something that I'm not. Look, I like it, but you also have to adapt. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. That's personally what I've been doing with like Instagram Reels. I haven't even bothered posting. Like, I post the same video on Instagram and TikTok just shits on it. It just TikTok just gets 200 views, but on Instagram it'll get like 2K views.
It's crazy.
And Instagram's pushing harder than ever, which is nuts. But it's just crazy. And now there's an oversaturation of gaming clips. Like, there's too many people posting clips, man. So people just scroll through it. So if you do something different, and you're more likely going to get that audience, like a 50-year-old mum that can relate to someone not doing dishes than some guy doing like a 360 fucking no scope off a ladder stall.
Ladder stall. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like, the thing is, the only benefit I see to the short form is like maybe it's a good way to like build your brand, because it's so you know, you do something like unique or whatever, it just catches people's attention, bang, you get a bunch of views, you link your other platforms where you can like, you know, do either streaming or like the longer form videos or whatever off of that. But right now, people aren't even making that much, like any kind of living off of it So it's kind of tough to be a short form creator when you're kind of stuck in that trap. Like when you can't, I guess, well, I don't know what the word is. If you can't transfer the audience from the short form content to the longer form, you're just going to be stuck in that trap. And I feel like that's kind of a lot of the issue these new creators have. And also, how far does short form content get you? Because if you're having long form content, it keeps you engaged, right? If you're watching it, if you're engaged into a 10-minute video, then you're more likely going to have people that will stay there to watch, right? And have a little watch time. And you as like whether you're an entertainer or, creator, whatever you're doing as part of your content, you can then, be very successful. But if you're short form and you're kind of making videos that are very short and just people like just switch through, bang, 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 by the time they get through 10 minutes of your content, they probably are going to get bored because they've just seen so much of this. So it's hard to stay entertaining for that. And then we're going to get stuck into a kind of situation where there's just an oversaturation of creators and that sort of thing, which I feel like it's kind of going towards. But, who knows, man? Who knows?
There's a lot, man. You got to do stuff to stand out and whatnot. But look, man, moving on from this topic, I want to discuss with you, where do you see at what point that casting was a viable future for yourself in the industry?
Yeah, interesting. Like for me, so like starting out, like I'd pretty much from the get-go, I felt like I kind of stood out to most casters just because of the kind of passion and level of hype that I kind of bring, and because I was kind of imitating, other casters that I'd heard, like maybe like let's say like a Maven or any kind of hype caster that was just kind of the stock standard. I kind of just imitated them. So off the rip, like my voice, my cadence, and all that was already there when I was casting, and from then people would kind of like gravitate towards it. Was like, oh, this is like really good, like you should do some more of this and that. And then I guess, I mean, only pretty recently I started doing so many different kind of casts and was having so many people ask me about doing casts for certain games and all this, and it was kind of all kind of blowing up and people kind of asking about it, was when it kind of sunk in that this could be a very viable path to go down. Because I mean, until then, I thought that, I was probably ahead of where I should be from when I started my casting, but I didn't really know where I was kind of at. And especially with an international audience, I didn't know how they would react to, an Aussie kind of caster. Because I didn't really want to be kind of, like a bogan kind of, not like bogan, but you know what I mean? Like that really like over the top Aussie accent.
Yeah.
When I cast, I try and dial it down a little bit. So I didn't know how an international audience would hear it. Because like sometimes you hear some, no hate to any Americans out there, but you hear like a really intense like American accent wherever it's from, and sometimes it's a little bit like, whoa, like that's something that you're not used to because you don't live there, right? So I didn't want that to be the kind of reaction that I had. So there was a lot that kind of went into in my thought process with that, but definitely doing like more international events and going through different regions, like with the ACCL that has Europe and getting like a lot of opinions on it, that really like changed kind of where I thought it might go with it. Because at first it was kind of like a side thing, but then really started to pick up, which is really good to see. I'm really grateful for. So,
oh, absolutely, man. And like going back to your point about like Americans and whatnot, like so many Americans overpronounce a lot of words because they like have the perfect American pitch. So what they'll do is they'll say color or caster sugar, orange. Where it's like caster sugar. Orange, door hinge,
sugar mate,
mate. Give me some fucking sugar. Give me some fucking sugar.
Man, I can imagine how dumb we would sound to like 99% of the world, right? Like imagine like you just hear an Aussie for the first time, like what the fuck are they saying, man? Like what are they going on about? But
that dude really say
a lot of words. Legit. So that's what I was most scared about doing it, but I've had really good feedback from doing some NA stuff and obviously the ACCL with the EU stuff, so I'm kind of ready to take it to the kind of next step, and especially to go to more games and kind of branch out. There's an event happening for Halo, CSGO and League. It's called DreamHack, pretty well known if you follow any esports other than COD, but that's happening in Melbourne. I don't know when it is. It might be in a month or so.
It's in August.
Oh, maybe August. Okay, you know when it is. You know more about it than I do.
I do.
But I am trying to get on that cast and for Halo, and hopefully the Cowboys can put in a good word and, a little bit of a, inside word for me. But that'd be sick. That'd be like really cool for me to do, because I really want to do Halo, and to do it at like a live event again would be just insane. Like I was like, I'll just do it for free, mate. I'll rock up. I'm in Melbourne. I'll just
no,
mate. Just get in there.
Don't do it for free. Give yourself, put yourself. Like you should be charging about $750 a day.
Yeah. $750 an hour or something is probably what I'm
an
worth.
Hour?
Maybe like $3,000 an hour. Like we can bump it up. We can start putting up.
Well, for a casting session, it depends. It depends what game you cast and shit like that. But
100%.
100%. Average price is about $750 a day for people listening. $750 a day if you want to be a caster. There we go.
Yeah,
not bad.
It's there's a lot that goes into it, but the thing is, branching out is kind of where my goal is at the moment. Obviously, my dream or whatever is, and the final kind of nail in the coffin, whatever you want to call it, is going to the league for COD. But I mean, wherever it takes me. I'm just going to branch out, do as much as I can, because I feel like I'm really unique in the sense that I don't think that anyone has like the passion or the hype that I bring with my cast. It's personally what I see, just because I don't know. There's something like when I'm casting and when I'm in the moment, like it feels like, and the way I explain it to people is like, when the team is winning, whatever the team, like let's say, it's Jack or GFreak's team. When your team is winning, it feels like I'm in that moment. I'm the player getting the 3 kills. I'm getting the hype. I'm feeling it. You get the passion that I just feel like isn't there for a lot of casters, because it's just, everyone casts differently and has their own different style, which is part of the beauty of it. But I feel like that's kind of what sets me apart, because I just have this like it's like this, I don't know what it is, like deep inside, like this hype, this
what
passion.
It is?
It's just there.
It is the fact that you have the ability to immerse yourself into their boots on the ground, and you kind of understand and know how they feel, because you've played some FPS games yourself, and you understand how you have a fair understanding of how things work and the emotion of how you feel. A lot of stereotypical gamers kind of have no emotion. Like you see Shroud crack 2 3-piece headshots.
It's like, nice.
Doesn't care. The guy's like stone cold. Doesn't care. He's like, Can somebody have a look at that clip, please?
Yeah, just
but if you get me getting one shot, I'm like, oh my god! It's absolutely freaking out, losing my shit. Yeah. But that's the thing. That's the difference, and that comes down to personality and how you've been brought up by your parents as well, and whatnot.
Heaps of that. Yeah. 100%.
It just depends on the casters that they see fit to match with each other, and what they see useful and as an investment to their league. Which you've got Merc and Maven, which have been a huge investment. Merc being an ex-player, Maven being just a caster all the time. But that's the thing. You want to be invaluable and you want to be an asset to the company.
Yeah, and that's the best part I feel like about like casters in general, is like I feel like they're very overshadowed, because when you kind of watch it casually, you're not paying attention to it, and like let's say you don't even really watch the esport, you don't know any of the players, and you don't know any of the casters or anything, you just watch it and it just seems all kind of professional and well done. There's people casting, it sounds good, the players are doing what they're doing, all that sort of stuff. You're watching it very casually, but when you kind of look at it and you watch it more often, and you get to know like all the different personalities and all the different types, it just makes it so interesting. Like it's just, that's really part of it. Like as much as the players have their personalities and that's what you gravitate towards, it's the same with the casters and that sort of thing. So it's hopefully that comes across. And my thing is like I always want to be making the play as hype as possible, because when you're watching it, you're not seeing the players' reactions. Like when they get a 3-piece, they might be screaming with their team and stuff, but you don't get to see any of that, so it kind of gets lost in transition. But when I get to cast and I can get into it and really hype it up and as you said, like be in their shoes, convey what they're feeling, it's just insane, because it's the best feeling, man. It's like it's the whole reason I pretty much do it, actually, is pretty much like when those hype plays happen and that sort of thing. So it's a really good point that you made. Like the personalities play a huge part, and I feel like just because I'm hype and there's other casters that aren't as hype or whatever, doesn't mean that they're not good or anything like that. They just have a different style of doing it, which makes it all even better, right? Like Miles does the same play-by-play that I do, but he is a lot more kind of calmed down about it, like he's like, let's go, friends, now we've got a 2-piece going into the hill and 3 down, oh my god, how have they done that? It's more like bubbly, and people gravitate towards that.
Yeah,
But
telling
then
the
when you have
story.
someone like exactly. But you have someone like Maven who's a lot more in line with kind of what I do. It's that hype. It's that he's getting really. It's kind of that raw feeling. So it's awesome. I love I appreciate pretty much everyone, at least the cast in the CDL. I think that all of them are extremely talented and have been able to kind of diversify themselves, which is awesome to see.
Absolutely, and it's just all about that immersing yourself in that experience and whatnot. I'm actually surprised that you don't have your Narski casts neon sign in the background on. Is it broken or something? Or what's going on?
No. Okay, I could put it on, but my camera quality, I need to get a new camera. My camera quality is so bad, you'll see.
Okay.
You'll probably get flashbanged. You'll probably get flashbanged if I put it on. Oh, no, it actually looks all right.
That's not too bad. Hey, on my end, it's great. So don't worry.
Okay. We'll keep it on. I was going to put it on, but usually because the brightness, my camera can't really get like a good view of the brightness. I usually would have it on, but it just seems to like flashbang the camera every time it's on.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Sucks.
It's good on my end, so don't worry. If it's shit on yours, that's okay. They don't see that. They see my end.
As long as they see your end,
they see my end.
Matters, yeah.
Okay, don't worry, man. Don't worry.
That'll stay on.
Dude, those things are expensive, bro. Those things are.
They were.
Set you back.
It was like $900.
Yeah, see,
we covered it. But I was like,
investment.
When I got it, it was kind of like, it was an investment, and it also just was like a reminder there, right? Like that I wanted to commit to it and actually like take it very seriously. So and it's sick. I needed something for my back wall. I couldn't decide, and I was like, you know what? Let's chuck a nice cast on there, and it's been there ever since. I love it. It's the best thing ever. Best thing I've done.
Get a picture of like The Rock without his shirt on, oiled up or something on there.
Yeah.
No, get a Narski cast, big LED sign. Love that.
Yeah.
That's mint. When did you get approached by Breaking Point, or vice versa? How did you find that opportunity, and when did that arise?
Yeah, so that was at the end of Cold War. And the whole reason they got on board with me, big shout out to Steve. He's very behind the scenes of what goes on, but largely it was due to Pred because he's done so much of my casting. He was the person who got me into casting, by the way. But after that, obviously he was going to the league, and they had a lot to do with that. And they had messaged me and was like, do you have any clips of you casting for Pred? We know that you'd done it. And I was like, yeah, I'll see what I could find, blah, 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 blah. And then after they'd seen it or whatever, they're like, wow, okay, wait, this guy's just doing it kind of on the side. Like he's not even, he doesn't barely have any experience, but we really like what he's doing. So they ended up, contacting me and was like, you should do some stuff for us. We're trying to do up a S&D league, and it's going to have Tupac and some other good S&D players from NA, which should get you on board. So I did a cast for them and stuff, and it was pretty well received. And ever since then, we kind of just been doing stuff together. They've been helping me out. They've been getting me onto gigs like this. Top 24. I keep saying top 24, and it's the COD Agent X Electrify Steel tournament, but I don't know what to call it. It's basically just the top 24 challenger teams. Yeah, it is. So I'll just say the top 24 amateur teams in NA. So casting them and stuff, he put my name forward and we're like, yo, this guy, he's from APAC. He's been doing some good stuff. You should check him out. And I'm pretty involved with them. So it pretty much just came about from the end of Cold War, Pred going to the league, and they saw me because I was obviously casting Pred. And was like, yo, we really like what you do and all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of how that all started.
That's fantastic. I love it. I've seen a lot of Breaking Point type stuff pop up here and there.
Oh, they're awesome, man. They're
heavily involved. Who's the guy that's in charge of it? I can't remember his name. He's like running the amateur scene over there in NA.
Amateur scene.
Yeah, he is like, he's always running like the AM scene type of stuff.
Are you talking about Tactical Rab?
Yes, Rab. Yes.
Yeah. He does all the reporting and like a lot of the info, and he runs he covers all the like drama and all the news and that sort of stuff. And they recently got Crone, who does CDL Intel as well. But yeah, he does all he covers all the amateur stuff and Rab's awesome. When I did the interview with Pred, he was getting me set up for that and was helping me out with that and stuff. And yeah, he's an awesome guy, man. So shout out to Rab if he's.
I've always wanted to try and get Pred onto the podcast. I tried reaching out, but he doesn't open his DMs. So that's
he's terrible with DMs.
I was going to say
it's not personal.
I think he has to like follow you back or whatever. But I always look. You don't know unless you ask. I'm just asking everyone. I really don't give a shit who you are. I just chuck it in the inbox.
Yeah,
If they see
get
it.
them on, mate.
If they see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't. But I'll have to try again. I'll see if you can help me get him on board and whatnot. But obviously,
I'll put in a good word if I can. He doesn't reply to DMs either. Don't worry, mate.
He's shocking, man. Shocking. But what is the end goal for you at the moment with this casting gig and whatnot?
Yeah, I think my end goal right now is to just get my name out there to as many people as I can. I just want to be able to kind of see what the general consensus is and see how people kind of react to like my casting. I really just want to know, how do people do people appreciate kind of what I'm doing, or do I need to switch it up and change certain things about my casting? So I'm always someone who's looking to improve. I never think that you can be like a master at something, or be final at something. So I'm always looking at things in my game plan to improve and stuff. So right now I'm literally just trying to do as many things as I can, as many games as I can, as many events as I can, international, locally, wherever. Just do as much as I can and see, what everyone kind of thinks and what I need to change to really, stand out. Because my goal isn't just to be a caster; it's to be the best caster that I can be, or the best caster in general. Right? There's no cap on it, so I'm always looking to improve and to diversify myself like that. So my end goal right now is literally just do as much as I can. Then goal in the future is definitely just, number one would be make the league, right? Be a caster in the league, be able to cast all the pros that I grew up watching, all that sort of stuff. Would be like a dream come true, right? It's like if I can't be a player, find another way in, and that's what I've done with the casting. So doing that, it'd be really sick, and that's definitely like the number one goal that's on my mind, is to do that. But I know even if I made it to the league and I was a caster in the league, I wouldn't stop there. I'd want to be doing more than that. I'd want to be doing multiple titles, go to the highest level in multiple titles, doing as much as I can, what I'm allowed to do, whatever, and just keep going forward. Because I don't know, it's just this constant drive that just wants me to keep doing more and more and more. So there's not really a set end goal, but there's definitely milestones along the way that I kind of want to hit, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, if you're locked into COD League, you're not going anywhere else to burst that bubble. You ain't cheating on COD, okay?
To be fair,
that's a relationship.
To be fair, I think Bryce has done a few things. He does the COD League, and he was doing League of Legends. I don't know how it works. We'll find out when we get there.
Bryce just does he's a subcontractor, and so he goes out for LAN events to host the stage as a presenter.
Right, to host. Okay. Well, I guess I'm becoming the best host as well.
That's a little bit different to hosting. And then you've got he also has hosted. I've seen him at a Halo event. I've also seen him at Apex Legends as well. So it depends what you want to do.
A bunch of stuff, man.
You've kind of got to want to
machine.
Like tie yourself to a company. We'll say yourself, for example, build your stature up there, and then go out on your own, freelance subcontracting thing, which is very hard. Obviously, you're self-employed and whatnot. You don't get sick leave. And all that type of stuff, but you've got to learn and build up your own connections through there before you can become go from a good caster to a great caster and whatnot. And hopefully, if you can get backed by a franchise league like the COD League or the Overwatch League or any sort of franchise league out there, then you've set yourself up really well. Then the next difficult part is just maintaining that spot, perfecting your art, making sure that you're an asset and you're viable to the COD League or whatever league you're part of. And that's like everything, really, man. And I'm sure you can definitely get to that point. Just it's just a matter of time, and not how, but when. When is it going to happen, mate?
Yeah.
When, when, all that. All those questions.
My mindset is that I'm already gonna. This is. I had a chat. I don't know who I had a chat to, but I had a chat to someone about this the other day, where it wasn't about. I never go into. What I do in life as kind of an if, right? I've always thought, I don't know if this is an ego thing or whatever, but I've always just thought I'm going to be successful in whatever I do.
Yep.
I've just always thought that. It's just something that I've believed. I've never thought, okay, I'm going to do something and not be successful in it. And whether that's, casting, whether it's something else, if let's say casting doesn't work, then I'll just go into the next thing. Like it's whatever I do, I just always do kind of like deep down that whatever I would do, I would be eventually successful in. So, maybe someone will see this 10 years in the future and go, this guy's talking dribble. He's done nothing. But, you know,
where the fuck's that guy?
Where's this guy? What the fuck's he on about?
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's just how I think. So right now, my mindset is casting, and I believe that I'll be successful. I'm going to make the league. It's not a matter of if, it's when, and that's just my mindset going into things. And I think that if you don't have that mindset, then you're already hindering yourself, because if you have doubt that you're not going to do something, then what's the point in doing it? You know, you're kind of half-assing it. And I think that's where a lot of issues come in for a lot of people. And also comes in with casting. I feel like a lot of casters that begin, you'll notice that they sound very like kind of flat, or, you know, kind of a bit into it. They go, oh yeah, and he's coming around the side and he's doing this. And it's almost like they're scared to be vulnerable, right? Yeah. They're scared to put themselves out there. And you've got to be able to do that if you are going to be successful, because if you can't break that barrier, then you're never going to be, you know, attractive to an audience, right? So there's a bunch of stuff that goes into that, but yeah, that's kind of my mindset going into it, and it's a good point.
It's like everyone nowadays, though. Like, everyone desires to have a fit body, but then at the same time, they're like, oh, it's great being overweight. It's just like, yeah, we accept you for whatever you are, but it's not great to be overweight. Exactly. You know, I want that. Yeah, I want that gym body. I want to be good at COD, but they can't. It's not I want. It's just I kind of want, and they forget to say it kinda in front of the I want. And so that's where they get lost in it. Like, I want to be a streamer, so they kind of half-ass it. Mm-hmm. But also, the other thing as well is that if you want to be a streamer, or you want to be a caster, or you want to be a whatever the fuck you want, well, like everything, you know, some kids aren't good at maths. Some people are better at sport. Some people love to cook. Some people are great at cleaning or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then when it comes to actually doing it, and everyone, you know, it's not something that works for everyone. It may not be the thing you're simply may not good at. You may not be good at it, and that's okay. That's okay. But we're sure there's something else out there that's definitely good for you as well, and you've just got to try find that.
Yeah, 100%. You just got to find your craft and do it. And my thing as well is, I guess going back on the topic of goals, is I just want to be able to make a career out of something that I enjoy doing. I was basically working full-time last year, and I was doing a job that I hated. Hated every second of it. I was getting paid very good money, but I hated it. I hated it every day. I had to waking up, going to the job, doing it, all that sort of stuff. So then when it came to this year, I was like, man, I'm just taking a break. I spent all last year earning money. Like, I've set myself up. I can afford to, you know, kind of really invest a lot of effort into my casting and doing that. So that's what I'm doing now. So whatever it is, whether it's casting, whether it's, you know, something else, if I can just make a career out of something that I enjoy, it doesn't even need to be a crazy successful career. As long as I can make a living out of it, right? I don't care. As long as I'm enjoying myself and I do what I do and I love what I do, that's all I care about. So I think that's a good point. You got to find your craft, and you've got to really invest in it, and you can't half-ass it. You can't go, okay, yeah, well, I kind of want to do that, or I kind of, I want to do that, I'm going to do that, and it's going to be successful.
Absolutely. And you've got to set reasonable goals too. You know, you can't be just saying, I want to be the CEO in the next 1 year, or you're going to be in the COD League next year, or you're going to be bigger than Tim the Tapman in 2 years' time. It's a very small percent that those things, they can happen, but it's like in the 0.0001%. So, you know, set these achievable goals. Otherwise, you're going to get in a rut of just failing yourself and just being really upset and not progressing anywhere
because you're disappointed.
Of how disappointed you are. And, you know, you might be disappointing others because you've told someone that and whatnot. But it's crazy. Out of curiosity, what did you do prior to, you know, what you're doing now?
I don't think many people know this. Every time I tell them, they're always very surprised. But I'm only 19, so I'm very young, all things considered. But I came out of school and there was hotel quarantine. So I was doing security for hotel quarantine. I was a resident support officer, and I mean, I don't think I'm going to get. I mean, I don't work for them anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I was getting paid $60 an hour to do their job, right? So outside of school, I was like, I'm going to take a gap year. I was originally going to go to the army, which is pretty crazy because then I would never have gotten into casting anyway, so I wouldn't even be in this situation. But I eventually ended up doing that job, and it was literally, I kid you not, when people asked me what the job was, I would sit in a dark hallway in a hotel floor, and it would be dead silent, no phone, no stimulation, nothing. You would just sit there, walk around with your own mind. It was mind-numbing, man. It was mental torture. I'm not even kidding. Like, it was awful. And every time I tell people, they go, but who cares? You're getting paid, you know, $60 an hour to do nothing, right? And I'm like, yeah, but it's that's why you get paid, because it's so mind numbing. It's so it's mental, torture. Like in some ways, yeah, you can have a lot of time to think about certain things, but
did they take your phone from you or some shit?
Well, you're not allowed to use it because essentially you're there to monitor the floors to make sure that no one's leaving their rooms unauthorized or doing anything like that. So if you're on your phone, you're distracted. Someone could get out technically, even though that would never happen. I've always thought if I was on my phone, there's an alarm at the door anyways, so you would be alerted. I don't know, but you can't use your phone. You would lose your job or whatever if you did that.
Do you reckon looking back at it now, you could have like just used it a couple of times,
listen,
or had like one AirPod in? You know what I mean?
If you think I didn't have a sneaky peek every now and then, but that was towards the end of the job because I was really like, if I lose this,
what am I gonna do? Fire me?
I was like, if I lose this, I'm done. But I swear to God, now that you bring up the topic of the AirPods, there was these two girls, right? There was these two girls, and they were there for like majority of the work, probably like 7-8 months, and out of nowhere they started wearing like a, I don't know if it's a burqa or what the correct way to say it is, but they started wearing that, and then I could see the AirPods underneath their burqa or whatever it was, and I obviously can't say anything because your religious beliefs and stuff. But I was like, I don't know what you're doing. I was like, all right, you've just out of 8 months, you've just decided to wear it now. Okay, it's a little bit suspect. But
so they never wore it, and then they started doing it.
They never for 8 months. They didn't wear it, and then they just started coming to work wearing it. I was like, oh, that's random. Okay, yeah, cool. And then I was like, oh, I see what you're doing with the AirPods and all that. But I respect it. You gotta make do we gotta do. But no, it was the job was awful, man. It was just it was seriously that bad. And as soon as I started doing casting and was taking that pretty seriously, I was like, yeah, if I can make a career out of this, I would 100% rather get paid, quote unquote $20 an hour than get paid 60 for doing a job that I hate. So
for sure, but the same thing as well. This is probably a parent thing coming out of me here. I'm not a parent, but you've also got to remember that your future, you are young and whatnot, but you also have to remember that, and you can take more risks than someone that's, older with a family and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't know.
You also want to be able to make sure that you've got a solid income to a degree, so you can get a house and you can get a mortgage, get a mortgage as much how shit that is, but you can set yourself up. Yeah. So you can set yourself up a little bit. And I'm sure your parents are probably they probably get into you a little bit here and there, just saying that, not because they're having a go at you. It's purely because they just want the best for you. And you just got to make sure that you're setting yourself up for that. Otherwise, it can lead to I guess a dark path for some people. You can, God dare I say that, you can end up homeless and whatnot, trying to live the dream. And that's the real extreme end of the scale. But, sometimes you got to think worst case scenario. If something doesn't work out, then you've just got to kind of multitask and work two things at the same time and just make it work. Which makes you enjoy it a bit more when you finally do achieve that goal.
It pays off.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So it is exciting. And I'm sure that myself and the rest of the community listening right now wish you all the best with those future endeavors of you, man.
Thank you.
It was great to cast alongside you. That was the first time I've really casted. I fucked up here and there, but whenever I fuck up, even on this podcast, man, I just ride with it. It's a fun thing. With it. I really don't care. And when I fuck up, I try to make it funny anyway. So for me, it's just a big fun fest.
Oh, of course, mate. It's not about a lot of it isn't if you make a mistake or whatever. It's actually playing it off and having the confidence to still ride with it, because everyone makes mistakes. It's just
write it off.
If you make a mistake and then draw attention to it, then people are going to notice. If you make a mistake and you still flow with it, or make it funny or whatever, if you have the confidence to pull it off, it's not even a mistake really in the first place. It's there's a lot. Yeah, that's just something that comes with being an entertainer. So
you know what? If you make a mistake and they hear it as a mistake, then their hearing's the one that's fucking wrong, not yours. Okay,
exactly.
It's fucking their fault.
It's not them, mate. What are you saying? Yeah, exactly. What are you fucking saying? My mistake? I don't make mistakes.
You fucking heard wrong, you dickhead.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Is there anything else you'd want to highlight before we wrap things up here, brother?
Nah. You know what? I think we covered most of it. The only thing that's going on for me is a couple of these NA tournaments that I'm doing. There might be something later in the year. If you want to keep up to date with me, Twitter's the best place. Narski casts on Twitter. But yeah, apart from that, I got nothing else. It was a pleasure to be on here. Pleasure to have a chat. It was a good time. So thanks for having me on.
Hey, pleasure, man. It's been great to have you on. And ladies and gentlemen listening, make sure to not leave this video or podcast without leaving a thumbs up. 5-star rating, otherwise I'll come after you. As well as the fact that Narski, Narski, for everyone wanting to understand the spelling there. But, ladies and gentlemen, that has been it. We're going to wrap it up there for the GFreak Speaks podcast, and that is it. That concludes it. Narski, thank you so much for coming on board, as well as everyone else for listening. You guys are legends. If you guys want to see Narski's beautiful face as well as mine wearing a cap, well, go to youtube.com/JackoGFreak, and everything else can be found on audioboom.com/JackoGFreak. Until then, better be safe. Stay swole. As always, boom baby.